This is Arghya Lahiri. So, Arghya, why don't you give us a brief introduction of yourself?
Uh, Thanks, Johan. My name is Arghya. I juggle several careers. I work in the theatre primarily as a lighting designer and a director. Also helped run a couple of companies and a youth theatre festival called Festival for the last 21 years. I work on the fringes of the film business. I have a degree in film, and I also work as a writer. Uh, those are the three things that usually take up most of my time.
All right. So, where did you study and what did you where did, sorry where did you study and what was your main motivation for choosing your path?
Um, I was lucky enough to go to film school at the University of Bristol. I did my master's in film and TV production. My specialization was in cinematography for Super 16 film. I've fortunately or unfortunately never had the privilege of going to drama school. Uh, but I Around about 1998, when I was on the verge of my 12th standard exams and a little bit beyond, I figured out that I'd rather work in the arts, particularly the theater and movie business. That kind of storytelling really appealed to me. Uh, those were the things that I wanted to be involved in. And every other decision that has followed has basically been based on wanting to be involved in that part of the world.
Hmm. All right. So, how do you use technology and how do you think technology will change the way you work in the film industry today?
For the film industry, of course, we're in an unprecedented kind of arena, and we were before the coronavirus hit. Mostly because technology has become so very accessible now. What you need to make a movie with, you probably already possess, i.e., a laptop and a phone. Uh, can you make the most technically demanding films? Perhaps not. But can you tell a story in a very unique and effective way? Yes, you can. Which is something that is allowing people to work in ways and means that they couldn't before. A lot of this has to do with resource and expense. One of the things that we learned at film school is the camera assistant actually has to change uh, the role of film in a magazine if it's been completely used up. And they have to do this in a thing called the black bag because, of course, you can't expose film. Uh, and now, 20 odd years later, there's a phone and you just plug it in and boom, here you go. And it's not that expensive. You can do a lot of takes and you're not dependent on lighting in the way that you were before. So people can go to places and work much faster than they used to be able to. So we are looking at a democratization of the process. You will not ever have a democratization, I think, of distribution because there will always be heavyweights, always be important players. There will always be some kind of a system that you have to find your way in. But the ways in now are far more widespread and far more accessible. You can put out something on YouTube and gain attention. You can make a small film, hundreds of film festivals. Everybody can pitch to Netflix. I don't know if you get it or not, but you can pitch to Netflix.
Hmm.
So, and also how to do these things, weirdly enough, how to write a screenplay, how to format something, how to format a submission document. All of those things are also available because of technology, because if you look hard enough on the internet, you can find most things. And there are guides and books and all of that. So uh, it's not that it's easier, but the entry point is much more within your grasp. You still have to do the work, which is you have to learn how movies are made. You have to learn what editing is. You have to learn what it is to tell a story in this medium, which is a completely different challenge from anything else. Uh, and you can only do that by watching movies, reading about movies, and really thinking about movies. That will never change. But if you felt like making a movie, um, friend of mine who's actually made 3 movies said something very interesting to me 3 or 4 years ago. Said we are living in a world now where it is no longer possible to have an excuse to not make a movie if you have an idea. That's what technology is now.
All right. So, what guidance do you have for some students who are looking to pursue a career in the film industry?
Well, first of all, find out what you want to do. Try and figure out what you want to do. If this means that you need to go and talk to people, um, there's a there's a very kind of strong divide in opinions about whether or not you should go to school, um, because Tarantino didn't go to school; he just watched a lot of movies. But also, if you're an actor, you should, I mean, many people believe, particularly in the theater, that you should go to school. But learn what it is that you're trying to do. Learn what it is that you want to accomplish. Figure out, because a lot of people are attracted to this world because of the perceived glamour and so on and so forth. And it can be glamorous, but it's also a lot of hard work, both in the theater and in the film business, and particularly with writing. And I'd suggest that the age you're at is not perhaps the age to make very serious and binding decisions. However, it is an age to attempt to experience these things, and figure out where your interests actually lie before you make the decisions to follow that up with education or study in your own time. I think that's the key thing. Identify why you're attracted to something and what you want to do. There are lots of people who begin wanting to be actors and end up in a very different place. I am one of those people. So I speak from experience. Try and figure out what it is you want to do.
All right. So, thank you, Arghya. Thank you for your time.